Hi, we are from Group 6 and our team consists of 5 members, myself Tanushri, Yashwini, Livanes, Hari and Lakshay. Today, we'll be discussing statelessness and why does it exist in Malaysia. Now, to start, the term statelessness does indeed sound strange, but we are able to somehow construct an understanding of what it implies, and that is true, at least in part. So, allow me to walk you through on what it actually is. The status of not being recognized as a citizen by any country is referred to as statelessness. Statelessness is regrettably very widespread in Malaysia, particularly among the immigrant and refugee populations. In Malaysia, statelessness is a complicated problem with many different causes. By streamlining citizenship regulation, granting access to paperwork and information, and combating prejudice against racial and religious minorities, the government needs to take action and to solve the issue of statelessness. Statelessness can occur when people lack the appropriate documentation to verify their citizenship or nationality. This may be the result of a number of factors, including document loss, access restrictions, or a lack of funding for the documentation process. This may make it challenging for them to fit in and may result in increased marginalization. For instance, poor access to information and services has been cited as one of the major issues the stateless Orang Asli population in Malaysia faces. Peninsular Malaysia is home to the Orang Asli, an indigenous group, although many of them lack birth certificates and other legal records that would indicate that they are citizens. Additionally, I have an article here from Suhakam, which is the Human Rights Commission of Malaysia, and it says that children who are stateless are a serious problem according to the Office of the Children's Commissioner (OCC). First and foremost, Malaysia should end its reservation of Article 7 regarding the right to nationality, since the classification of people as stateless without any form of identity or identification violates Article 8 of the United Nations Conventions on the Rights of the Child. Due to present rules, only children of citizens are permitted to enroll in public schools, denying stateless youngsters their right to an education. Children who are not citizens must pay high tuition costs or attend alternative schools which are unable to offer them a standardized, high quality education. Stateless children cannot receive free medical treatment and are more vulnerable to abuse and exploitation. They are discriminated upon often and cannot express their plight. According to the OCC's consultation and dialogues with governmental and non-governmental groups on this subject, there are three key causes for the existence of statelessness children in Malaysia. First, because of irregular marriages that result in unreported birth, which is discrimination against children born out of wedlock. Second, because of inconsistencies in the National Registration Department's procedures at the district and state levels. And third, because the Federal Constitution and the Adoption Act of 1952, which are the relevant laws, needs to be changed. Both Sabah and Sarawak have extra problems because of their vast physical land masses, which have made it difficult for rural residents of both states to visit the city's registration office. In addition, the special community JKK for Sarawak, which had been formed before the year of 2018 to examine the citizenship application, had been disbanded and was no longer in operation. Moving on, there are several methods to address these problems, which are more awareness campaigns should be run to educate people about the value of legalizing marriage. The Ministry of Home Affairs must follow the standard operation procedure that was already put in place on January 1st, 2020 to speed up the citizenship application process. In order to prevent inconsistent practices, all NRD branches, whether at federal or state level, must reform and standardize their administrative system. To prevent child statelessness, the FC's Article 14, Section 1, Subsection B, Second Schedule, Part 2, Section 1, Subsection B, and Section 17 must be changed. Additionally, the Adoption Act of 1952 must be reviewed so that the adopted kid can have the same rights as the adoptive parent's biological child. To ensure that the problem is rectified by 2023, The OCC is adamant about pursuing all of the aforementioned remedies. That's all from me. Thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Yashwini Upneswaran. My student ID is 0363733. Aside from the given points, I like to focus more from the children's circumstances. The number of stateless children in Malaysia is significant as the number arises year on year. About 15,000 children born in Malaysia or having Malaysian fathers were denied their nationality at such an early age. From this number, around 2,500 are still not receiving formal education because of lacks of documentation. In the following year, the Home Minister, Hamad Zahid Hamidi, further explores that there are about 30 million, which is like 31.62 million according to the World Bank 2019, underage children identified as stateless in Malaysia. Several causes can be deduced to understand stateless children's factors. Possible causes include the failure of legal registration marriage and childbirth, immigrant and refugees, child adoption, and baby dumping. Now, let's focus on the last cause, the abandoned children who do not have Malaysian citizenship. In 2021, Malaysia had the most baby dumping cases in Southeast Asia. Malaysians abandoned 100 newborn each year. Nevertheless, Section 19B of Part 2 of Second Schedule of Federal Constitution protects foundling and abandoned children from statelessness by recognizing them as Malaysian citizens. They found in this test. However, the NRD lacks administrative guidelines or procedures for implementing the relevant constitutional provisions. They could not supply the evidence needed for the citizenship by operation of law without knowing the biological parent. MICAs have given many grants. These cards, however, are often a threat since they do not allow application to pursue PR or citizenship. When abandoned or foundling children are adopted, they can only get citizenship through their adoptive parents if the adoption takes place before the child turns 21 years old. And the citizenship application is filled with NRD under Article 15A of Federal Constitution, special power to registration children. If the child turns 21 years old, the only way to gain permanent residence is through MICAs. This can be difficult and lengthy process with many stipulations and requirements. It is critical to know the potential difficulties of MICA's grants. Now let's see a situation that illustrates the hardship of obtaining citizenship that can be found in the case of a woman who was born stateless and later obtained a Malaysian citizenship at the age of 39 after almost 4 decades of being without a nationality. Her name is Hashima, who has never met her biological parents and never adopted. The High Court sided with Hashima according to the lawyer Saul Liberty. She got her temporary resident identity card at 18 after the NRD denied her citizenship application in 2012 and 2013. In October, she filed a lawsuit in the High Court of Kuala Lumpur to contest the rejection of a citizenship application in July 2020. Due to her statelessness, she could not obtain any official documents and faced many challenges. She was barred from taking government school examination, paying more to be treated in the government hospitals, and not being able to travel overseas. Then, Lawyers of Liberty Director Zaid Malik, who also represent, urged the government to supply the citizenship application for stateless children who was found in the country. The federal constitution says that if there is a case of abandoned children or foundling, the state must presume that the mother of the child is a permanent resident of Malaysia. This makes the child fall squarely under Article 14(1)(a), which makes them liable of citizenship. As a result, Hashima received her Malaysian citizenship on November 17 last year. This was after the High Court ordered NRD to issue her citizenship certificate and Malaysian identification card. She hoped that her case gives hope for the stateless individual. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Livaneshwaran and my student ID is 0362665. Today I will be talking about few reasons of why statelessness happens in Malaysia. One of the primary reasons for statelessness in Malaysia is the country's complex citizenship laws. Malaysia Citizenship Act 1955 set out the criteria for citizenship, which include birth, descent, and naturalization. However, the Act also includes various provisions that can lead to statelessness, such as the requirement for a person to have a Malaysian parent to be granted citizenship by birth. Moreover, Malaysian citizenship law discriminates against women as Malaysian women are unable to pass on citizenship to children born outside of the country, whereas Malaysian men can. This discrimination has led many stateless children in Malaysia as their mothers are unable to confer citizenship onto them. So, few cases have been dealt in Malaysia. One of the case was Chang Ah Mei against Ketua Pengarah Jabatan Pendaftaran Negara Malaysia and ORS 2018. The federal court ruled that a Malaysian woman who renounced her citizenship in favor of becoming a Singaporean citizen could not pass on citizenship to a child born in Malaysia. The court then held that the child was stateless as he was not recognized as a citizen by either Malaysia or Singapore. Another cause of statelessness in Malaysia is the lack of documentation. Many stateless individuals do not possess a birth certificate or other identity documents, making it challenging for them to prove their citizenship or nationality when it comes to court cases to prove that they need citizenship for their children. There are also issues related to migrations where stateless individuals may be undocumented migrants or refugees who have not been granted citizenship in any country. So, it is very, very important for everyone to have a proper documentation to get the citizenship in any country. So, these are the main reasons of statelessness. That's all for me. Thank you. I'll be passing on to my next group member.
Hello everyone, my name is Harinanda. Now I'm going to talk about another two reasons. The number one is legal challenges. Malaysia's citizenship laws have been criticized for being overly restrictive and for creating barriers to citizenship for certain groups, particularly children born to foreign spouses. In some cases, the legal process for obtaining citizenship can be lengthy and complicated, and many stateless individuals face difficulties in providing their eligibility for citizenship. Number two, the administrative problems. Malaysia's citizenship registration system has been criticized for being inefficient and prone to errors. Some individuals have been unable to obtain citizenship due to administrative problems such as loss, missing documents, mistakes made by the government officials. Okay, now let's look at the solutions or the way to overcome statelessness. Number one, improve the citizenship registration system. Malaysia's citizenship registration system needs to be improved to make it more efficient and effective. This could involve investigating in new technologies and systems to streamline the registration process, providing training and support for government officials responsible for citizenship registration, and introducing mechanisms to address errors or omission in citizenship records. Number two, provide legal assistance to stateless individuals. Many stateless individuals in Malaysia face legal challenges when trying to obtain citizenship. Providing legal assistance and support to these individuals can help them navigate the complex legal system and access their citizenship's right. Thirdly, we are going to look at address discrimination. Discrimination based on ethnicity, nationality, or other factors can contribute to statelessness in Malaysia. Efforts to address statelessness should include measures to combat discrimination and promote social inclusion and equality. And finally, strengthen cooperation with neighboring countries. Many stateless individuals in Malaysia are migrants or refugees who have fled from neighboring countries. Strengthening cooperation with these countries to address the root causes of migration and displacement can help to prevent statelessness and ensure that all individuals have an access to the citizenship right.
Be that as it may, states don't make this assurance in exactly the same manner or in meeting with different states. Thus, examples keep on emerging in which people are not considered ethnicity by any state, prompting the peculiarity of statelessness. These are instances of individual statelessness which by and large emerge from an absence of coordination of public regulation concerning the essential standards overseeing procurement and loss of identity or the regulations connecting with marriage. Marriage may likewise be a reason for statelessness, where the identity of law of one state forces loss of ethnicity upon union with an outsider. With no argument for programs securing of outsider ethnicity in his country upon marriage. In all such cases, statelessness is by and large compulsory for the individual concerned. However, statelessness may likewise happen deliberately. For example, the regulation of a given state might take into consideration one-sided renunciation to its future of its ethnicity and future identity, or may qualify as a person for duty without having respect. This gives the progress to investigating the following classification of statelessness. Example, relative or ensuring statelessness for all instances of deliberate statelessness are essential resulting. Be that as it may, all resulting or relative statelessness need not to be international, and large portion of it for the most part emerges because of struggles between all inside states. Move on area or as an outcome of regulative of chief activity provoked by political strains, differing ethnic and racial ideas of public personality and social or monetary difficulties. Under the vast majority of the above conditions, a mass of individuals are delivered statelessness. Mass statelessness might result because of regional changes empowering the ancestor state to denationalize the populace, be concerned despite the fact that the replacement state may not be give its own identity. Once in a while, outsing portions of the populace concert or through a state's regulative or leader activity. Occurrences of the last kind might be tracked down in the Soviet announcement of mass denationalization of December 15, 1921, or in public communist regulation to deny German Jews of the ethnicity, or the Czechoslovak regulation to denationalize people of German beginning. Legislations may likewise correct their identity regulations and denationalize entire segments of society to rebuff or minimize them, or to work with their rejection from the state's domain. Examples of the previous kind could be said to have happened because of the development of recently free states after the Second Great War, as well as because of cost of decolonization or crumbling of a government. Commonwealth, leaving thousands or even large numbers of individuals stateless or with a contested case to ethnicity. The disintegration of their multi-ethnic government states and the arrangement of the political elements and the stateless emerging therefrom is connected with created locales, particularly the ex-socialist coalition, where states are going through an unmixing of people's groups carrying with the degrees of instability and questionable citizenship status to significant quantities of individuals. A third element liable for mass statelessness is war, prompting the constraint, uprooting, and loss of identity by counting individuals, such as could by excellence of having a place with specific racial, ethnic, or strict gathering be liable of pessimist, state activity, or of removal of hardship to identity. Statelessness is such sorts of circumstances is unavoidable and the most stunning kind, for it denies immense segment of the human populace of its intrinsic right to identify, disregarding its essential common liberties with no excuse or rational reflecting clear hardness and gross segregation by the state concerned. While considering the different choices accessible for disposing of or if nothing else lessening is issue of the citizens, it is many times discussed whether identify questions fall inside the restrictive space of each state. Addressing the touchy area of a state sway or can be the subject guideline by the worldwide standards and principles. In 1923, the long-lasting Court of Worldwide Equity concluded that without arrangement commitments, each state has the option to conclude who its nationals are. The court practiced its overall commitment to assume that the sovereign country state isn't restricted except if there is explicit proof of its express or sudden assent. Thank you.
Okay, now for the conclusion part. The legal aspect of the problem is also worrying. In Malaysia, stateless persons are not protected under any law and they are not able to access the same rights and privileges that other citizens enjoy. This is especially concerning given the precarious situation of stateless population who are often vulnerable to exploitations and abuse. This statelessness has created a range of social and economic issues for many affected people. It prevents them from accessing basic services such as education, healthcare, and employment. It also denies them the rights to own property or travel around other countries or in the Malaysia. These also are the main obstacles have been a long-lasting impact on their lives and family. As a result, statelessness has become an entrenched issue with people stuck in an endless cycle of poverty and exclusion. That's all from me. Thank you. I will pass on to Yashwini.
To address this issue, Malaysia need to take immediate action and establish a clear set of policy to protect and provide legal documents to stateless persons. This will not only benefit Malaysia but the whole region. It is essential to create awareness about the issue and offer support for those affected. Malaysia must also prioritize the integration of stateless persons into society and ensure that they are provided the social protection access to public service. To do this, Malaysia must create an exclusive environment that respects their rights and uphold their dignity. Additionally, Malaysia must invest in awareness campaigns to educate local communities about the value of citizenship and the legal rights of stateless persons, so that they will be aware of it. Malaysia need to invest in education and training to stateless people learn skills that they need to move on with their lives. Moreover, it also ensures that employers are held accountable for hiring stateless persons and provide them the equal opportunity. To ensure the effectiveness or implementation of the policy, Malaysia needs to build a strong partnership with the other countries in the region itself.
Okay, so we have Miss Vani over here who's kind enough to agree to this interview. Miss, do I have your consent to take this video?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you. Sorry to bother you while you're shopping. Okay, Miss, can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Vani. I'm from Klang.
Okay, nice to meet you. My name's Tanushri. I'm a first year law student at Taylor's University. So this interview is for my assignment. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions on statelessness. So do you have any idea what statelessness means?
means people don't have country or citizenship.
Yes, that is correct. My next question is, why do you think statelessness exists in Malaysia?
Of course lah, in our Malaysia, we don't have very strict law on this.
Okay. Okay. What about the illegal immigrants?
The immigrant illegally can come to Malaysia. They easily will get job from our local Chinese company lah, cheap labor. Then what will happen? They will marry our local citizen to survive in Malaysia.
Okay. Okay. What if these people have children?
Oh, the one is a big question there. It's a big problem also is there. First, if they have children, they won't get our Malaysian citizenship. This is will affected them. Cannot study in our local government school lah.
Okay.
Then the children cannot get proper education. Cannot get friend.
Okay.
Then what will happen? These children mentally will affected.
Okay.
They cannot enjoy. They cannot enjoy our normal childhood life.
Okay. What do you think will happen to the future of these children?
Oh, there's a big question mark. Our government, our Malaysia government, have to step in to help them or take action to settle their problem. That's all. I think that's my question enough for you.
Yeah, that is correct again. That's all, Miss. Thank you so much for doing this interview.
Okay. Thank you so much for you also.
Yeah.
Good luck to you.
Thank you, Miss.
Okay, bye-bye.
Sorry to disturb, but I need to ask you a question because I'm having an interview for my assignment. So I need to interview for that. Do an interview for that.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Okay, sure. What's that?
The topic is about statelessness.
Okay.
So basically about people who don't have a citizenship.
Oh, stateless means without citizenship.
Yes.
Okay.
So why do you think the answer is citizenship?
It's a tough question. Okay. As I know, stateless means people like foreigners. Most are they are stateless people. And sometimes children are born in Malaysia. Also from foreigners, collaborations and everything. Also considered stateless because they can't able to provide. Because if you have a Myanmar, Bangladesh over here children, I don't think so they manage to get citizenships over here. Another thing, as I know, stateless is people, as I know, my old grandparents who married, but they don't register until now. Till now, they can't able to get their citizenship. So it's a bit difficult to get stateless if you don't have a proper documentation. Long time back, if you don't give your documentation, you became stateless. That's what I know. Is there anything else you want to know?
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, then bye. See you.
Good evening, Miss. I'm Livineshwaran. I'm from Taylor's University. Thank you for helping me doing my research. I reconfirm it. Is it okay for me to take your video?
Yeah.
Miss, can you introduce about yourself?
Hi. Good evening. I'm Komla. I'm from Bangsa here.
Okay, Miss. Do you know what statelessness means?
Because of lack of documentation.
Lack of documentation. What type of documentation does statelessness happen?
I see birth certificate.
I see birth certificate. Do you have any other reasons why statelessness happen?
Because Malaysia only allow father to pass on the citizenship, I think it's very unfair. They should equality.
So you're saying that gender equality makes
Yes.
statelessness happen in Malaysia. Okay, Miss, thank you so much for your...
Hi, ma'am. My name is Harinanda. I'm from Taylor's University. Can I ask you some questions regarding my assignment?
Yes.
Okay, my question is, what is statelessness? Do you know anything about statelessness?
Statelessness, a person who does not have identity regarding their citizenship
Alright.
or nationality.
Okay. Thank you. Can I know what are the reasons of statelessness?
lack of documentation regarding such as birth certificate or identity card.
All right, ma'am. Thank you.
Hi guys, so I'm at Sanjay Putra Mall today. So I'm going to be interviewing a random person about statelessness and what's your opinion about it. So let's go.
Start.
Good afternoon, ma'am. So my name is Lakshya from Philips Universities. Can I get 5 minutes to interview about stateless people and what's your opinion about them?
Stateless people. About stateless people, I think they have no basic rights such as education or healthcare. And also because of this, they might have difficulties in accessing, like voting, they cannot vote. So this can struggle their lifestyle. They will have a lot of difficulties in enjoying the basic needs. I think that's all.
Alright, thank you, ma'am.
And that's all from Group 6. Thank you.